Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to continue with see our topic from week 5. We are going to continue with expressions and statements. Earlier we started with it, so we are finishing with it in week 5. So let's get right into it. It basically deals with iteration statements. In coding terms, we say they are loops, and we have types. We are going to look at the for loop, the while loop, and then the do while loop. So let's get right into it. Now, when we say iteration statements, we basically mean loops. Now, what are these loops? Loops allow you repeat code without writing it multiple times. Therefore, it's basically like a program on its own that makes you repeat what you've written in a code or what you want to repeat in a code, but you don't have to write every single step or every single thing you want to repeat. So let's see how it works. Let's get right into it. So the first one we have the for loop. Earlier we talked about comments, and that is what we are doing right now. For loop. So let's get right into it. Let's try to print numbers from 1 to 5. Yes, basically repeating them, but not actually repeating them. So something small about for loop. It has a condition. That's one thing about expressions and statements. We need to establish that in order to use them, they come with conditions. So for the for loop, the condition is that you know how many times you want to repeat that particular thing. So just like we are printing the numbers 1 to 5, so we know the exact, or we know how many times we want to repeat. Therefore we use the for loop. So let's continue. For loop. Okay, so we have to as the for loop, and then bring our integer. Let's make it integer I. Assign it to 1. End the line, and then we see I greater than or equal to 5, and then we end the line, and then we see I should be increased. The post increment when should be increased in each loop. Basically add 1. Let me finish it. Basically add 1 to I after each loop. That will basically do the increment. This is something everybody should take note of. Let's end the line, and then let's print it and see if we get what we are supposed to get. Okay, so we have an issue. our line 51 before, and then clearly this. Okay, let's put this in our AI to see what we are missing. Let's continue. So our AI is taking time. Let's use that as an opportunity to try out another AI. Okay, now we are waiting for our code to be corrected. Okay, that's the requirements of this. Hold on, guys. No. Oh. Yeah, this is our submission. Sorry for that, guys. We are trying to correct the code at this point, so let's have patience. So basically it's telling us okay, I think there needs to be before it returns O. Let's try building it again, because I don't really alright. So let's see if yes, okay, that was the error. one error, so let's see what the issue is. Now let's build it. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, sometimes when you are coding you just need to apply certain things you feel is the problem, and then you move from there. So now our code is okay, we don't have any errors, no warnings, no seconds, no minutes. Yeah, the code is perfect. So let's run it and see. Okay, so we are not, this is not the output we are supposed to get. Yeah, this is not the output you are supposed to get, meaning we left out something in the code. I think double quotes are supposed to be here. Yes. Okay, let's try again. Think ideally okay, I think this is supposed to be in a string type, not character type. Okay, now let's run it and see if we get, nope, this is not what we are supposed to get. Let's go back to our AI. Let's go back to our AI. We wait for the AI. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see the correct version. Okay, so this semicolon is not supposed to be there for starters, and then they talked about this. I think that's all. Let's try building it all over again. Okay, let's hope this time we get it. Yes, we get it. Yeah, thanks to AI we corrected our code, and now we have 1 2 3 4 5. So clearly this is something, if for loop didn't exist, we would have repeated. But since it exists, we just put in a simple code and then it repeats 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for us. This is what we are supposed to get. So yes, that's an example, or that's something we do with the for loop. Let's try and get this off and see if we will still get it. Behold. Yes, so you see there's a clear error there, so it's very important you don't miss very tiny stuff like that. Okay, now let's move on to the very next one, which is the while loop. The while loop. The while loop also has a condition, but unlike the for loop, which has a condition of knowing how many times you repeat and then inputting your code, the while loop does not work that way. That's not the condition for while loop. It's actually the opposite of for loop. With the for loop, you know how many times you are repeating, but with the while loop, the condition is when you don't know how many times to repeat, but you have a condition. You don't know how many times to repeat, but you have a condition. Let's do an example and then let's get right into it for us to see a coding example here. Let's try inputting the code that will count down to 3. So we are trying to print basically 3, 2, 1. Let's see how we go about it. So integer count, let's assign it to 3. We end the line and then we make sure we declare that this is a while loop. See out, count less than 0, or is it less than or greater than? Sorry, that's greater than 0. Yeah, that's greater than 0. Greater than 0. And then now let's see out count. Yes, so one more thing, and then okay, yes, end the line. This here indicates that I decreases. Oh, sorry, we didn't use I here. When the number decreases or the value decreases by 1 before actually using it. So 3, and then it decreases by 1, which becomes 2, decreases again, becomes 1. Let's see if our code is okay. We don't have any issues here. Let's just hope we get what we want to print actually. This is not what we want. This is not what we want. What happened there wasn't what we wanted at all. So let's go back to our AI. We want to print a countdown of 3, 2, 1. Correct our code. So the placement of is inside the while loop block, so it never executes corrected code. Wow. Think go back to our AI. Tried this once and it didn't work out, so let's just see if it works out this time, or maybe that's what we are missing. Okay, let's just hope it prints what we actually want. Okay, it's has, but it has right here, but we want it on the next line. We want it on the next line. We don't know why it's on the list. Our code on the next line on the compiler, so let's see what our AI does for us. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay, so I think the So our AI before the start the loops. Okay. Okay. Let's hope it does what we want. Okay, it did. It did. 3, 2, 1. Okay. That's basically okay. Horizontally, but we'll take it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's move on. So that's a while loop. We are all learning, so yes, we will make mistakes, but this is the right way to go about it. Copying code is not the right way. You input the code in, your AI, let your AI detect your mistake for you. You come back, you correct your mistake, and then you run your code, and you are good to go. Yeah, so that's basically it with the while loop. Yes, we had a condition, but we didn't know how many times we were going to repeat, and then we used the while loop, and then yeah, this is what we got. Now, last on the list, we have the do while loop. So for the do while loop, let's learn more about it. But basically, it's like when you want to run a code at least once, and then you check the condition. So basically, you run the code before you check the condition. But with the while loop, you have the condition. You just don't know how many times you would repeat. For the for loop to think you have a condition, and then you know how many times you want to repeat. Okay, so the do while loop is slightly different from what we've done so far. Let's try and see something what we are dealing with here. Output of the do while loop, so that we can get into the example, and then we call it a day. Whilst we wait for our AI, constant practice makes you perfect, or makes you okay with the code. No matter how perfect you become, you would write code and realize you actually, before you actually realize that, no matter how perfect you become, you write code and you still make mistakes. So this is a nice way of okay, so this is the do while loop. Always runs at least once, like I said, even if the condition is false. Yeah, so it runs at least one before it checks the sorry for that, before it checks the condition. So right here, let's do something. Let's do something. Let's say integer number. Let's indicate a do while loop. Yes, so let's see out. This string. So sorry, we are trying to enter a positive number. Enter a positive number. Okay, and then okay. I think that's okay. And then end the line. Then we see the difference. So see out is like out, and then see in is like in. So see out is like less than, and then see in is greater than. So let's continue. And then let's continue. Wow, please, wherever I'm writing it, take note of it, because if you don't and you have issues, it means you didn't really listen. Less than or equal to 0. Let's space it. Less than or equal to 0. We end the line. End the line, and then now let's see out. String type, so you entered sorry. And then we see number. We end the line. Alright, so this is our code. Let's see if what we spoke about will be printed. It says what the do while loop, at least one will be printed before even checks the condition. So let's run it and see. We have it, but we need to move it to the next line. It can't be here, it can't be here, so we have to move it to the next line. Alright, let's, so that we can take a screenshot and then run it. We input it in our AI. Just so our limit is not up. To the next line. One thing about the do while loop is if the condition is false, it will at least print 1. Now if the condition is true, then it repeats. Hope that's clear. Okay, so let's correct our code first. Enter a positive number to the next line, just add an LO in your C out. Yeah, let's do that. We did that earlier, so I don't know why we forgot about it again. And then yeah, this one too, and L. Let's build our code again. Alright, let's hope the problem has been fixed. Yes, so we enter positive number, let's say 8. Exactly, so enter positive number, we entered 8, and then it is indicating we entered 8. Basically, yes, that is what our code says. So enter positive number, Cn number, while is less than or equal to 0. Yes, so the condition is not true, but it's still printed out our 8. That is how the do while loop works. Even if the condition is not true, even if it's not true, it prints out before it even checks the condition. So basically it's like it makes the mistake or it commits the sin before checking if it is even a sin. But if it's actually true, if the condition is actually true, let's say we printed out 8, or we see in the C in we entered 8. So if we entered, let's say, a negative number which would have made the condition true, it would have continued, or it would have repeated. Yes, so let's end the video here, guys. That's it for the loops. We took a look at the for loop, the while loop, the do while loop. Yes, we'll end it here. See you in the next video. Any questions or all questions should be dropped in the comment section. Bye.